In today's video, we will discuss about 5 the forgotten women of the Wild West. Untold struggles. Howdy, partner. Welcome back to our channel where we bring you the wildest tales from the history books. Today we're going to be talking about some of the most fierce, fabulous, and feisty women in the Wild West, who not only broke barriers, but also busted myths. Now you might think that the Wild West was all saloons, shootouts, and six-gun slinging cowboys. But hold your horses, because we're here to reveal the untold struggles these trailblazing ladies faced. So grab a root beer float, sit back, and let's get ready to rumble with the forgotten women of the Wild West. No. 1. Pearl Heart. Let's kick things off with a bank heisting beauty, Pearl Heart. This vixen wasn't just a pretty face. She was a force to be reckoned with when it came to robbing coaches and trains. In the 1870s, she teamed up with her common-law husband, Joe Book, and made a name for herself as a daring outlaw. Now, despite being a notorious criminal, Pearl's story is a bit of a mystery. Most of what we know comes from newspaper accounts that often painted her as a femme fatale, a dangerous seductress who lured unsuspecting men into her web. But there's more to this enigmatic outlaw than meets the eye. You see, Pearl wasn't just a damsel in distress waiting for a knight in shining armor. She was a headstrong, independent woman who took matters into her own hands. When she decided to flee an abusive marriage, her journey to the Wild West was one of survival and self-reliance, and she faced countless hardships along the way. But instead of becoming a victim of circumstance, she turned to a life of crime and became a legendary outlaw. So next time you hear about Pearl Heart, remember that she was more than just a pretty face. She was a survivor, a trailblazer, and a force to be reckoned with. No. 2. Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane was a legend of the Wild West, known for her sharpshooting skills and her larger-than-life personality, but behind the myth was a woman who faced her fair share of struggles. Born Mary Philbrook, Calamity Jane's life was marked by tragedy from an early age. She lost her mother when she was just 14, and her father soon remarried, leaving Mary feeling neglected and unwanted. She ran away from home and joined a traveling show, where she learned to shoot and developed a taste for adventure. As a young adult, she married a trapper named John Harris, but the relationship was abusive and she eventually left him. That's when she met General George Crook, who became her mentor and helped her land a job as a scout for the U.S. Army. Despite her success in this male-dominated field, she faced sexism and discrimination from her fellow soldiers, who often underestimated her abilities and refused to take her seriously. But Calamity Jane proved them wrong time and time again, becoming one of the most respected members of Crook's team. In the harsh and unforgiving landscape of the Wild West, she not only had to overcome the challenges of her personal life, but also the prejudice and danger that came with being a woman in a man's world. Yet she persevered, becoming a symbol of strength and independence for women everywhere. Number 3. Laura Bullion. Laura Bullion was a true pioneer who faced countless obstacles with grit and determination. Born in Illinois in 1847, she grew up in a time when women were expected to be submissive and subservient to men. But Laura had other plans. When she was just 16 years old, she set out on a journey to California with her brother and his friend, and she quickly learned that the Wild West was a dangerous place for a woman to travel alone. Along the way, she was subjected to harassment and assault, and she even had to defend herself against an attacker with a knife. But through it all, she never gave up. And when she finally arrived in California, she realized that the journey had changed her forever. Laura became a member of the Native Daughters of the Golden West, a group dedicated to preserving the history of women in California. But she didn't stop there. She went on to become the first woman to serve on the Board of Regents of the University of California, and she helped to establish the state's first public library. Despite facing sexism and discrimination at every turn, Laura never backed down. She was a true trailblazer who paved the way for generations of women to come. No, for Mary Fields. If you thought the ladies of the previous entries were tough, Wait till you hear about Mary Fields, also known as Stagecoach Mary. This powerhouse was a former enslaved person who don't let anything hold her back after gaining her freedom in 1862 during the Civil War. She served as an army nurse, tending to wounded soldiers and providing them with food and supplies. But her true passion lay in driving. After the war, she began working as a stagecoach driver, hauling freight and passengers between Montana and Wyoming. Despite facing racism and sexism along the way, Mary never let it slow her down. She was known for her incredible speed and endurance, and she even earned the nickname Stagecoach Mary from the drivers at the Wells Fargo office in Virginia City. But Mary wasn't just a fearless driver. She was also a savvy businesswoman who knew how to make a buck. She carried supplies with her that small shops would run out of, selling them to eager customers at a hefty markup. And if that wasn't enough, she also served as a deputy sheriff, using her keen eye and fast reflexes to capture criminals and bring them to justice. In a time when women were expected to be demure and obedient, Mary Fields was a true trailblazer who forged her own path and defied the odds. Number 5. Josie Mansfield. Last but certainly not least, we have Josie Mansfield, a former saloon singer who turned to crime when the saloon she performed in was threatened by a rival gang. With the help of her lover, Black Bart, Josie and her sister saved the saloon and established their own gang of female outlaws. They robbed 7 stagecoaches and murdered 2 Chinese men, making them a formidable force to be reckoned with. However, Josie's luck eventually ran out when she was captured and sentenced to prison. But this didn't stop her from continuing her criminal activities. As she managed to smuggle in a gun and escape, she eluded the authorities for several years before being captured again and sentenced to life in prison. Despite her rough exterior, Josie had a heart of gold as she gave away most of the money she stole to poor children. Sadly, she passed away in 1909 without ever seeing freedom again. But her legacy as a fierce and independent woman who took matters into her own hands continues to inspire awe and admiration. And that's a wrap on our channel's video about the forgotten women of the Wild West. We hope you enjoyed learning about some of the most fearless and fabulous ladies who made their mark on history. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an exciting episode. Until then, stay safe, partner. And remember to always stand up for what you believe in, no matter the odds. And if you want to learn more about the incredible stories of the Wild West, be sure to check out our other videos.